Welcome back to European Masters. Second semifinal match tonight is AJ Rogue versus MOUZ Esports. For the new viewers just joining us, Rogue is the last remaining Polish representative in the tournament, facing off against the Prime League. Let's turn our attention to AJ Rogue because this team has been very explosive.
Yeah, definitely. Explosive in a certain ways. I think explosive around mid-ganks early game and explosive around team fights. I think they're the two key things when you look at AJ Rogue. Always drafting these team fighting champs. Even their top laner kind of like split pushers, but they're kind of team fighting champs, so like Mordekaiser, Camille GP. Sort of side lane pressure, but mainly team fights. So, I mean, just across the board, we've talked about it before. Zanzarah, the biggest bridge for them early to mid game. He helps them to early game, ganks all the lanes, gets them as far ahead as he can, sacrifices himself, falls behind himself, goes down in levels, but then allows his team to carry through mid game, gets him the dub. That's basically the main concept of the early game. And then mid-late game, setting up objectives, getting good fights, and Trymbi and Zanzarah are the huge engagers.
Yeah, and Ultraliga is one of the best regions we have here.
That's crazy if you think about it, though.
And they haven't won. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, how has this region not won E-Masters yet? AJ Rogue are the last type of Poland. They haven't quite been able to do it so far, but this is a grudge match, right? So AJ Rogue, previous E-Masters, 2019, why did I say it was 2019 every time? 2020 spring, they played against MOUZ and they beat them in the quarterfinals. So this is something where, you know, they might have that extra confidence going into this matchup because they've already been here, they've done it once before, and now just looking to do it again.
Yeah, before we dive deeper into MOUZ, I want to talk a bit of Czekolad, because Czekolad seems to be the flashy player on the side of Rogue, aside of Woolite.
Yeah. Flashy is a word that I would use with a pinch of salt on Czekolad because he's more like stability. That's what I look at him. You know, Kadril mentioned about Zanzarah being like that bridge for Rogue. I think that Czekolad, if he falls apart, everything falls apart for Rogue. Yeah, you've got some standout players on Rogue that can just pump out the deeps, like Woolite with his insane Hackerman stats. You've got Zanzarah who likes to play around his team and all this stuff. And Szygenda's one of the best players, in my humble opinion, outside of the LEC. But Czekolad, you know, if he's not on his game, Rogue isn't on the game, and it becomes abundantly clear, and that's something that MOUZ is going to hope to exploit in this series.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Czekolad has been popping off most of this tournament. He's like the rock, like you said. He's not really like a pop-off factor, but he's a rock. He's consistent, and Woolite pulls a lot of damage as well in the fights. And like you said, Szygenda is also kind of a player we should highlight as well. He's definitely one of the best tops outside the LEC. He's been showing it, honestly. He's doing really well in the group stage, in the quarterfinals. His stats are crazy.
Yeah, they will be facing on MOUZ Esports, the bloodiest team we've seen at EU Masters this split.
Oh man,
you can attribute it all to Leader, I'm sure of it.
It is, like, it's just, I mean, every time we pull out MOUZ Esports, it always comes to this guy in the mid lane. It's always talking about Leader, and that's for good reason, right? He's ridiculously talented. He's won E-Masters before with his buddy in the jungle there, Obsess. But I just think all across the board, they're a team that really should be feared. Like Tolkin in that top lane, we were talking about Szygenda. Tolkin's really blooming good as well. You know, in the previous series that we saw, Tolkin, in my opinion, was the MVP of their quarterfinal matchup. I think it was really, really solid. And it's like, they have threats across the board. The fact that they have like regional league FLICKR in the mid lane is, you know, it's just like a cherry on top for this team. It makes them, for me, they're the team to beat in this whole tourney.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, promisq, I think he's the best performing support in the tournament so far, helping Leader so much. And Leader, he is the pop-off player, but the thing is with Leader is either you gank mid, or your mid's gonna get pushed in all the time, and he's gonna be the one ganking mid, or you just keep ganking mid, and it's just a fist fight around mid, so...
Because just looking at the stats of this player, like, Leader has insane stats. Like, RPS CS difference of 15 minutes, first blood, never been a victim of that, and I think he's like 56% participating in the first blood.
Yeah, exactly. Those stats are on the lower half of your screen there, you can see it. I mean, Leader is the key to MOUZ in terms of aggression. Everyone plays around mid and against sort of going towards mid with leaders in the game, so... Yeah, shut them down.
I'm really looking forward to it.
I want to see MOUZ. I want to see MOUZ every game.
What are the chances if we get a 3-game series, MOUZ every single game?
Yeah.
Yeah? I'm looking for that at least.
Yeah, it's going to be bloody. That I can assure you. We are just moments away from our second semi-final match tonight. It's the rematch, the quarterfinal from Spring Split. Can they bring it back? Ultraliga versus Prime League. Penguin and Ox are standing by to bring you all the action.
Thank you so much, Colin. I'm Penguin, this is Ox, and we got ourselves the second semi-final of the day. Who will be going up against Gamer Legion? And honestly, looking at these two teams right now, it's insane how good they are at what they do.
Yeah, I think both teams have a little bit of distinction in styles, but the main thing is that mid lane is so important for either of them. Obviously, long talks about Leader there, but Czekolad, stabilizing him can be huge for Rogue if they want to transition into that mid to late game.
And for the side of MOUZ as well, this is a grudge match. Like they said on the desk, this is the match that they lost 0-2 to in spring quarterfinals. They have themselves an opportunity to make that back and give us an all-DAC final. It's going to be tough, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a difficult fight here. I really feel like it's a stacked semi-final, and you can look at a lot of the names on these teams. These are players who want to be in the LEC. A lot of them have experience in the LEC, and this is an opportunity to prove that they deserve to be back there.
We are on to Champ Select, ladies and gentlemen. Agoro did win the coin toss, and they opted for the blue side to start off this best of 3. And they're taking their time, waiting to see what they want to go for. But we've seen pretty much most things commonly, if you look at kind of some of the stats. Agoro always going to ban, you know, kind of the Akali as such against someone like Leader. They don't want them to get anything kind of comfortable.
Everyone has been banning Akali.
100% ban rate.
That has been just consistent. Kalista, a big one as well for the bot lane. And Caitlyn, not too much surprises away from Woolite. Actually going for the Shen here. So this is something that mousesports did bring out as a flex and utilized it for promisq in the bot lane. I was actually thinking they wouldn't necessarily need to ban that because it is a big flex for Rogue as well. Obviously, Zanzarah, the person who invented that Shen jungle that we've seen start to show up in the EU and in North America.
And for a Go Rogue, what is success in the draft for them? What do you want to see from them picking up early, late, for them to really come into this matchup as, you know, as slight favorites?
I think you want to be able to have lanes that you play around, and I think you want to have a solid matchup for Czekolad, and you can lean into the later stages. As long as it isn't something super concerning in the side lane, I think in teamfights, a Go Rogue can handle mousesports pound for pound.
For mousesports, I feel like it's just in the solo lanes, it's so stacked in their favor. As much as we are hyping up Czekolad and we're hyping up, you know, kind of Szygenda, Tolkin and Leader are just so damn good at what they do.
Yep. Absolutely, and Obsess is the player who will facilitate them, particularly Leader. You will see him in the early game putting the pressure around there and ensuring that Leader has a successful matchup and is able to find that pressure. Getting the first pick Skarner coming in, this is something that Zanzarah, we saw Tings utilize in last series. Zanzarah has also been a big proponent of this champion and looking to find those plays and picks around the map. Later on, he is just going to become an ult bot, but that is his role he fulfills in his team.
Yep. Zanzarah yet to lose on the Skarner pick so far. Played it 3 times, 100% win in that particular category. But for MOUZ, looks like they're going to go straight for the Senna. And maybe the Hecarim as well. Something that's kind of slipped through the bans. So that's actually an interesting kind of topic. Rogue opting to go with the Skarner over the Hecarim.
Yeah, and the thing with the Hecarim is he can farm pretty effectively, does scale up well into those later team fights and remains relevant, especially on that Triforce spike. But in terms of that usefulness of that ultimate, you can force those picks really effectively in the mid game on the back of that Skarner. Now the Senna, something that Jeskla has been leaning on quite heavily, and to look on the other side, Woolite has been playing a lot of Ezreal. And actually, one thing that normally is prioritized when they take the Ezreal, you often see the Orianna in tandem, but that has been banned away by mousesports, so Czekolad needs to look somewhere else. Could potentially see something like the Syndra come out here.
And the beauty as well, if you look at mousesports, the kind of flexibility they have is that Leader's a prolific Sylas player, and this is something that he can just kind of go, anything that you get, we can get. You have to be careful of what you give him access to. But fun fact as we're coming into the junglers, both have 100% win percentage on these 2 champions, so someone's going home with a loss today.
Yeah, will be. I actually like the Galio coming in here from mousesports. It's a good matchup into the Rakan, very easy to CC him when he goes in, and once Rakan is locked down, he has a bad time, very squishy, but this is champion pairings if I've ever seen it. I've seen 5 games of Ezreal coming out from Woolite, and on 4 of them was with Rakan. So big emphasis on that, and vice versa. mousesports, when they take Senna, they like the Galio as well. It gives a lot of that global pressure, and I'm looking at mousesports. If you want to play through the solo laners, you have a jungler who's strong in those early skirmishes, you have globals available to your bot lane, it does set you up perfectly.
Yep. Going to be locking the Galio and promisq, most played champion of the tournament. He actually, you know, again, hasn't really played any other champion twice. Literally, it's 1-1-1-1-1, Galio 3, and this will be the 4th game for him if it does go towards that bot side. It can go to Leader. We are more leaning towards it going towards promisq just because of the amount of pressure
I don't expect
it can
to see
create.
this
Yeah,
I really don't.
It's
For a
not
lot of
his
teams,
style.
this could be a flex, but for mousesports, I think this is very much a support pick now. Renekton going to come out of ban, one of those big neutralizers that you can pick if someone's going to lean on a split pusher. You can force a lot of pressure. And a response ban will be like Camille. We've seen Tolkin pick this up, start to make a lot of pressure, and I think as well, works very well in tandem with the Galio, so makes complete sense. Question's going to be, will we see the Sylas ban? Second rotation. We often see if MOUZ aren't able to get the Sylas in the first 3 picks, it does get banned away in the second rotation.
Well, Gangplank going to be the final ones. They're putting all their second-round bans up into that top side, making sure Szygenda cannot create pressure against Tolkin as of yet. And now for a Go Rogue, do you leave it up? Do you try and go for Leader here? I feel like that's always just going to be a hard one to try and sell because he's got so many champions he can just lean into. I feel like right now you've got to try and take away something away from Tolkin.
I mean, that's a potential one. Urgot is something that he often leans towards. Actually going to go for the Lucian, so concerned about the flexibility. If you pick that here on this pick, you can obviously flex between top and mid. You don't know where it's going. It makes it incredibly difficult because typically what I expect here is a trader counter pick. So Tolkin takes the Mordekaiser, a Go Rogue get top lane counter pick for Szygenda, but then in reverse, mousesports get their choice of mid lane counter pick in this situation. So we'll see what Szygenda wants to bring out here.
Tolkin yet to play the Mordekaiser so far this tournament. So it's going to be a first time for him on that top side there, and see if he can bully him out. And looks like a Go Rogue feeling like they might be able to go for something here. Maybe a bit of a denial, and it is going for the Sylas for Czekolad.
Yeah, taking it away themselves, and obviously a decent choice of ultimates to steal away. I'd say one of the best here is the Onslaught of Shadows from the Hecarim. That is huge for the team fighting power of the Sylas, and a little bit of a gauntlet thrown down here by a Go Rogue so far.
Yeah, I love it. Onslaught of Shadows, if you were not aware, hence why, you know, you kind of see it being picked into the Hecarim so often, is that Onslaught of Shadow has 100% AP ratio conversion. So when you're in the late game Sylas, it's absolutely ridiculous. And that is the quickest Kassadin insta-lock I have ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, Leader is very experienced in the Sylas, clearly prepared if someone's going to pick it away from him for a response. And I'm looking at the composition of mousesports, and I'm thinking that 1-3-1 is going to be mean in the later stages of the game.
Now we see the compositions locked and loaded here. Go Rogue got themselves that Gnar, so they have the what I call the pseudo tank in that Gnar. You're able to kind of lane bully a little bit as well. You've got options here. You got a lot of pick potential, but on the side of MOUZ, it feels like it's just get the pony ahead and then start fights from the Hecarim.
Yeah, and I think you often see Jeskla and promisq applying pressure in the bot lane. They have a favorable matchup here. Obsess can put pressure down there. If you manage to get an early herald, they often use it to snowball that. And then later in the game, you have Leader on this Kassadin, Tolkin on the Mordekaiser as well. You have solo laners to play around. I'm feeling pretty confident for mousesports here.
Yeah, I feel like mousesports got pretty much not everything they could have wanted, but pretty much almost everything. And you're looking at the side of the Go Rogue, they're the ones that have to be the ones pushing the, you know, their composition ahead and trying to get those advantages earlier on in the game.
Yeah, and I want to be seeing pressure around mid lane because it's such an important lane in general in the current meta, just for setting up the map, but also here for these two teams. Often Rogue's early pressure goes down mid to enable themselves, and then often MOUZ like to give Leader a lead to find success. So I'm looking at Zanzarah, I'm looking at Obsess, and I'm expecting to see them putting that pressure down around this area.
Yeah, you can have a quick look at the summoner spells. You see 3 teleports for a Go Rogue, and a very, very rare respect barrier from Leader here. Knows the Kassadin's going to be very, very susceptible to being killed till at pre-level 6, and actually didn't go fleet footwork either. Went with the Conqueror instead.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a lot of longevity in those extended skirmishes because you have the barrier for the shielding, gives you time to stack up the Conqueror and go more extensively. And all in all, when you're playing a side lane role, yes, you don't have the teleport to join in with fight, but you'll have more dueling potential and you can unlock that sooner. So Leader, very confident in this pick, and we have seen him have matchups before where he doesn't have as much early pressure, but he still looks to challenge. Big one for me was playing against Felix in the group stages when it was Renekton into Sylas, and Leader still looked to take the trades against him.
And these two teams, as we both said in the pre-game and the pick and ban, they play so heavily around their mid lane. It's all about Czekolad, it's all about Leader. Leader, like you said, has Obsessed to kind of babysit him a little bit, but Czekolad, he's got himself 2 buddies.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me for Rogue is that Zanzarah and Trymbi will often both find themselves coming mid lane to facilitate Czekolad and set him up. And that's what I'm looking out to see, is the pairing between the jungle support of Rogue.
Some early level skirmishes though from both sides. We're going to see, you know, testing the waters, as they both know getting first blood here in this series could mean huge amount for your team as Leader gets jumped on by Czekolad. But Leader, like you said, not afraid. Conqueror's prop for both sides. Flash has to be burned. Flash responded with Leader with the solo kill. Oh, welcome to mid lane, Czekolad.
Yeah, and Czekolad goes in for the trade and runs out of steam, and Leader is confident. He knows the limits of the champion. He gets the Conqueror sacked up, and that final empowered auto did so much damage. You're coming into this series and you see that is worst case scenario to open a game against a Kassadin.
You're not trapped in here with me, or I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me as such for Leaders. We don't expect this from a Kassadin so early on. It's kind of seen as the, all right, sit down, nothing going to go crazy, and he just turns it around. But speaking of turning around, Obsess now coming in towards this mid lane, just going to try and thin out this wave a little bit as Czekolad.
Crush it in.
Needs to be able to try and reset it.
Yeah, allow Leader to get the reset, and this is really important because when your Kassadin's playing without TP, you have to be escorting waves in because you can't just reset and TP in and force it himself. He needs the assistance, but that's what Obsess often gives. So here, Czekolad's done everything at this point. He's used everything, and Leader's like, well, now it's my turn. Turn things around. The empowered auto damage in the final one does so much there. And this is the thing with Kassadin. A lot of people think, you know, Kassadin, weak 3-6, and yes, he doesn't have access to his ultimate, but often a lot of the weakness comes from playing into a ranged matchup. That's the difficulty. You need the ult to close the gap or to escape. You don't have the wave clear to match a ranged champion's harass, but here against a Sylas, melee against melee, and it's not an AD bully, something like a Renekton, you can hold your own in the Kassadin, and you can find windows, and Czekolad did not respect that and paid the price.
Netherblade does a hell of a lot when you have got the extra little bit of damage, of course, with the active on top of it, but overall it is still just a 200 gold lead, nothing too crazy as such, but Czekolad definitely got kind of, I suppose, a bit of a surprise, a bit of a jump now in the mid lane, and it's up to him now to regroup, refocus, come back into this, because it's only one kill, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's not massive, it's just definitely makes things difficult, and you can see Obsess will play through mid, moves through there, starts putting vision down on the bot side, and a big thing as well is playing around that bot lane of promisq and Jeskla. They will look to do this. If they find a lead in the lane, they will go behind your tower and force you off. They are so aggressive in this 2v2, and if Obsess is there to facilitate them, they will run away with a lane. You can see Woolite and Trymbi. You're playing Ezreal Rakan. This is a very defensive... A little bit precarious there. promisq did have the heal, so he's always going to be okay, but taking one too many tower hits. But ultimately, Ezreal Rakan isn't a lane with huge agency. It has safety. They both are very mobile and hard to pin down, but you can't match up to the priority of a lot of champions, and just a trading power, particularly of the Senna early, is very difficult to deal with. Now, Trymbi, they try to stop the recall, but promisq actually blocks the... Oh,
nice. That's actually pretty big because there's a teleport on top of Woolite. There's no teleport for Jeskla, so just delaying the backs is pretty big. They're trying to go for a bit of a trade. Don't think they're going to be able to take anything as Czekolad gets himself caught between the minions, and this is, oh no, it feels like it's a repeat, but this time there's a pony to help. Can Zanzarah really go for anything? The barrier's popped. Not going to be enough for the side of Czekolad, though, as Leader picks himself up a second kill, and this is going from bad to worse for Czekolad.
Yeah, and Leader's hit level 6, so that extra safety net is there and available, and the thing is, when you're going in for these trades, you always have to expect Obsess to be in the vicinity. He plays around Leader so heavily. And the big thing here is, again, you use everything you have going in for the initial trade, and Leader goes, okay, are you done? Now it's my turn, and starts to throw it back. The chain's not connecting as well. But even if they had, you're not going to win this trade. You don't have enough damage to kill him, and Leader specifically took the barrier for scenarios like this. In the 2v2, you can go aggressive as you want because they just don't have the damage to finish you off. They don't have those combat summoners themselves.
We see over the top side, a bit of handbags here between Szygenda and Tolkin. Gonna be pretty easy for Szygenda to be able to kite this one out, but Tolkin, again, both pretty safe. Don't really expect much to happen. However, it is a 20 CS lead for Szygenda so far.
I mean, this is an ideal matchup for Tolkin. Playing into something like a Gnar, it's very hard to ever catch him out. If he does step into your claw and, say, jumps and gets pulled out of it, great. That's rarely going to happen if you're playing the lane properly, and that's what we expect of Szygenda, to be playing this lane safely and applying that pressure. But that's Tolkin's role in this game, and he's happy to be a role filler for the team and just accept the fact that his lane is going to be so fun. But when you look mid lane and see the 2-0 Kassadin, I'm going to be happy.
So we've got a bit of a lull here. We talked about, you know, the two teams and how they match up against each other, and for Rogue, it's been a bit of a slow burner. They have been able to kind of get themselves ahead, but for MOUZ, it's been a pretty quick one. 28 minutes, 11 seconds for an average game time is pretty damn quick. And the first turret as well, you can see they're both fairly high. So both teams relying on that kind of early game to get them ahead.
Yeah, I do feel like MOUZ are a little bit more explosive, but also sometimes a little bit more hit and miss, and I think that's reflected in the goal difference at 15. MOUZ don't always find themselves ahead because they go for those skill checks, those volatile plays, and they can sometimes get answered back. Did see, just while that was happening, Zanzarah move bot and Jeskla forced a flash. I'm looking to see if you're making that, if you're burning that flash, I want to see the repeat gank. You have the ultimate available to Zanzarah. You potentially look to set something up further. The wave has crashed into the tower, and on the back of this will bounce back, and that's where you can look to capitalize. Although for now, they are going to go towards the top side of the map. Obviously, Herald spawning, so that'll be the priority.
We'll have a quick check of the gold, obviously, once we got it there, because both teams quickly looking down on top of it. Pretty even down the bot side. Top lane is almost about 400 gold ahead, but it's that mid lane. 1,000 gold at 8 minutes. It's just huge. And the Kassadin is just going to continue to scale.
Yeah, that's a yikes from me, is what I'll say. This is not a fun scenario to be in as the Sylas, and the matchup's just going to get more and more leader favored as the game goes on. There's never going to be a point where Czekolad goes, okay, it's go time. You've missed the mark. Leader is stronger than you. You're not going to be able to duel him, and he becomes more and more relevant.
So how do you then pivot, if you will, now if you're a Go Rogue? You've spent most of the tournament, I feel, relying on Czekolad being the initiator, being the guy to kind of get the kills, get the gold, and push ahead. How do you pivot now to make sure that the rest of your team doesn't just crumble under the pressure of what mousesports have now in leader?
Well, you still have some nice spikes in the mid game, especially around the Ezreal. You have the Skarner as well, and that's always a big playmaking tool that you can utilize. You find someone who's isolated, you find someone who you can look to capitalize on quickly, and you make use of that Skarner ult to go for a punish. The problem is, it's going to be difficult if it extends into a 5v5 because you have things like Tolkin's Death Realm, which you can use to mitigate the Skarner. You have the globals from promisq and Jeskla. If they're in the vicinity, well, if promisq's in range, you can utilize that. So Rogue need to be careful, but I do want to see them trying to find these windows. This might be one of them.
Here we go. You wanted to see him go back up to the top side. They jump in with the Impale. They get the flash down. Can they get the kill? Not quite. Jeskla with a sliver of help, but Czekolad wants to change that. Flashes forward. Will be able to land himself a little bit more damage to pick up that kill. Going to take the Galio ultimate. promisq not quite level 6 just yet. Uses the Justice Punch. Not quite able to pick out another kill, but here's Leader. Hasn't got a huge amount of mana, though. He needs to be very careful. Kingslayer down. Leader pushing himself back behind the tower. One more auto attack. It's going to be Trymbi picking that one up. But Go Rogue straight back.
Beautiful setup there from Rogue. They go for the dive in the bot lane. The players with the globals who want to be assisting on the map, but there's no globals to help them out. Leader makes the roam, but is just too late. So it's a little bit messy at first. promisq doing a good job to mitigate this, but at the end of the day, there's no help coming for MOUZ, and Jeskala's already so low, you're indefensible here, and Czekolad's roam beats out Leader. That is the critical factor here, and it's why mid lane is so important in this game, because the mid lane who roams first finds a successful play, and despite the fact Czekolad's weak, despite the fact he's fallen behind, Leader is there too late, and the Kassadin, despite being ahead, isn't quite strong enough at this point to go 1v3.
The early bird catches the worm, and 3 quick kills up on that top side, and like you said, you burn the flash on Jeskla, and very, very importantly, promisq wasn't level 6. He didn't have the hero's entrance to mitigate any kind of a dive. I feel like for a Go Rogue, that was the only time they could have made that play.
Yeah, and I think the big thing as well is just a decision to go for the globals, because you target someone like Leader, not only does he have the ult as that safety net, but also you can expect to see the teammates' ults coming in and them assisting him to find favor in the play. Now, Czekolad is playing a lot more reserved than he was before, which I am happy about. No more diving in, especially when you can often see members of MOUZ floating around mid lane to assist Leader, and right now promisq is looking to do that.
Next Dragon going to be up in just under a minute's time. Rift Herald pop down the bot side. It's going to be Woolite picking up all that sweet, sweet gold if he can. As Jeskla now here to clean up the wave. But overall, as we hit the 12-minute mark, it's looking like a 3,000 gold league out of nowhere for a Go Rogue, and I feel like that's kind of coming here. As we thank you, observers, for looking at. Look at that bot lane, 1,200 gold, and now Czekolad with those 2 kills is ahead of the Kassadin.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is he got the kills, there was a shutdown which didn't go to him, but either way, there was a lot of gold for the bot lane, and then the Herald is a big swing in favor of Rogue. 610 gold into Woolite's pocket, and we're talking about that mid-game spike. Rogue are in prime position to lean into that.
Rogue probably going to be able to pick up this Dragon. It's only going to be the first, so no real big stacking coming in just yet. But MOUZ have slightly different ideas, and they had no vision of it, and they try to jump in. There's the hero's entrance as Obsess is already dead. promisq trying to Justice Punch out, but he's not able to get out just in time. Czekolad trades his life, but takes down the kill. It's a 2-for-1. TV coming on the backside, though, as Szygenda has no rage bar. He hasn't really got himself in a position to be able to fight this. Death Realm's been popped on top of Woolite. He's now out, but Woolite is dead, and Leader jumps back in on this fight. This is has turned very, very quickly in favor of MOUZ. Leader jumps in, so does Trymbi, and they jump themselves back out. It's toing and froing. Both teams want to try and pick up. There's so many low health bars. They know they can maybe go for it. Szygenda forced to flash away. He wasn't going to hit Gnar bar in time. And overall, it's a 2 for 2.
Yeah, and I was feeling a little bit tentative about MOUZ going for that fight, but they're able to find it there. Now, TP coming in here from Czekolad. Woolite could follow his as available. It looks like this fight isn't quite over yet.
Unfortunately for side of MOUZ, you don't have the teleports here to really kind of contest this. That's the beauty of having those global, summoners available. Yes, to get the combat summons. As I say that, there's a true shot barrage across 3. Trymbi sadly does lock himself and Woolite down, but the Dragon at the end of it will end up going over to the side of a Go Rogue.
Yeah, so Dragon still secured there, but MOUZ showing they are very much willing to fight and they will challenge you in these skirmishes. They're not a team to sit back. Now, I think the critical thing in this fight is I think the initial play from Zanzarah is good with the ultimate, but the TP is very late here from Szygenda, and we actually had a picture-in-picture showing he walks up to Tolkin and attacks him a bit before teleporting, wanted to build a rage bar, but the TP is only being challenged now, and you're down a member for a lot of the fight, and actually Tolkin has a huge impact. He ults Woolite, and he essentially guarantees his death in this situation, and it's a massive factor. And I feel that was ultimately the mistake, is not being set up for Szygenda to TP in with a full rage bar, and obviously Tolkin had a massive impact in annihilating Woolite.
Coming back into it. You see about a 3,000 gold lead coming in here for a Go Rogue. They've got themselves their early advantage as Woolite and Trymbi just roaming up towards this top side. They may look for the dive here on top of Tolkin. No Death Realm just yet. Has got Flash available. Has to use it as the Grand Entrance was pretty well placed there by Trymbi, and that's a summoner down. And overall, Rogue, very rocky first 5 minutes, have definitely come back in the next 10 to make this a much more comfortable position for them going later into this game.
Yeah, and they're happy just to keep grouping up and taking these 5v5s. They're confident in these. Now, Tolkien stepping up again.
They have Death Realm. Death Realm is available. He might try and just go for this. He does use it straight away on the Trymbi. They take away the tower, and Tolkien now jumps straight away. As we get Leader jumped on, the Impale is there. The onslaught of shadows on top of 2. It's actually Woolite who goes down. Leader just trying to keep himself alive. He will eventually fall. Czekolad, though, is in between everybody on the side of MOUZ. They pick up 3, an overextension from a Go Rogue, and they are punished heavily.
They just dive too far, and MOUZ are able to respond in force. Some beautiful play, and Leader, just before he goes down, able to explode Woolite. Really nice response from MOUZ, and they're going to be able to pick up this Herald. There's no TPs available now to try and come back and contest this one.
And again, just an overextension. Didn't respect the cooldown of the Death Round for Tolkien. Yes, they get the tower. Yes, they jump straight onto Leader, but everyone from MOUZ was just rotating up. You didn't have the rotations in time, and then it's just a numbers disadvantage.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the critical thing here. Is very hard to dive in Mordekaiser with ultimate, especially when there's something like a Rakan who he can just pick as a target. No way Trymbi kills him here, and it buys time. And then Leader gets focused down, but critically, they have the ultimate from the Senna to buy him time. He survives this stun. With the help of Obsess, he one-shots Woolite, and that's a critical difference again. When you're targeting these players, the global pressure is there from MOUZ to assist them.
Dawning Shadow, and of course, the hero's entrance from promisq, if they didn't need it at that point, but if they did need it, definitely able to. Yeah, didn't need it, but didn't have it, but neither way. And again, we're back to a pretty even state. It's 2,000 gold, and a comfort zone for a Go Rogue after the 15-minute mark. But Leader's stacking. He's got himself the Seraph's Embrace. He's going to be looking to get that one fully upgraded, and it becomes even harder to kill. And you can see just even there with the Dawning Shadow, with Obsess running in with the Hecarim on the onslaught of shadows, it becomes very difficult to actually 100-0 Leader.
Yeah, especially, I mean, he's going towards the Frozen Heart. He's going to be a bulky Kassadin. And the thing is, he still has a ton of damage just from the mana pool. He's now at level 11. The getting points in your ultimate is a big spike for the champion, so in a comfortable spot. And Rogue, we've just seen the Iceborne Golem picked up for Woolite. He's going to have his mana immune stacked shortly. This is when you need to be driving that momentum, and you need to start finding the big objectives, cracking the mid lane tower, and looking to find a way to close out this game. Because you give more time to MOUZ, and you will struggle.
This is such a huge game for a Go Rogue as well. They have never gone any further than the semi-finals at EU Masters. They've always been so damn close, and they've also been a creator of just so much LEC talent overall. It just feels crazy that they've never even, gotten to the finals, let alone won the whole thing.
And I'll take that, and I'll give you the counterpoint. MOUZ also, this is the furthest they've been in the tournament, and you look at the likes of Shadow and Kaiser, both of which were on MOUZ previously. A lot of talent have come from these rosters into the LEC, and both of them are looking to replicate that. These players want to be there. And this series is really going to be the one that decides it. Now, we do see the Ceres is now fully stacked for leader. Definitely a big spike, a lot of AP just from having that leveled up. But on top of that, Woolite has the man immune. Big spike for the Ezreal.
Tolkin just can't hit anything right now into Szygenda. Might be in a little bit of trouble. Yep, gonna have to use his Death Realm, but I don't know if he's gonna be able to stay alive much longer. Kassadin up in that top side, able to pick up a tower. Tolkin just trying to run away, but Woolite is here on top of promisq. Tolkin is down, promisq almost sure to follow, and that's gonna be 2 quick kills. Yes, you get a tower, but good rotations from Rogue.
Yeah, and it's just a mistake really from MOUZ. I like the decision to leave leader in the side lane, let him push, get gold, get pressure, but if you're doing that, you shouldn't be so far pushed up. Tolkin was never escaping there, and then we saw promisq end up getting caught out as well, and this is giving space for Rogue to pick up their second dragon and put pressure onto this mid lane tower.
Obsess. Devastating charges on top of Trymbi. Just gonna take a fair chunk of damage on top of himself. Ocean Drake is available, so looks like the side of Agoro gonna be able to pick that one up themselves. And overall, positive plays from Agoro, proactive plays from Agoro, but like you said, ticking clock coming down here. MOUZ, the longer this game goes, the more comfortable they become.
Yeah, you need to keep the momentum up, and it's not even like MOUZ are weak now. We've seen them challenging these fights. We've seen Leader be really strong, especially when you're looking at his items. But it's going to get worse. And I think that's the thing that I want to highlight is Woolite is incredibly powerful right now. But as the game goes on, Jeskla will pull ahead, adds a ton of utility, gets that extra range. So Agoro really need to keep dictating the pace of the game. It's 4.5 minutes till that next dragon. So I want to see some setups. And potentially, if you're going to look for some picks, it needs to be on this bot lane. Those are the ones with the global. If you try and pick anyone else, they will be able to assist.
And a quick look at what was Trymbi. Leader jumps in, he jumps out.
That's a big difference. Once you're level 11, you can go in and out again. At level 6, you don't quite have the cooldown.
Pretty safe, as we can see the Rift Herald summoned into this mid lane. They're going to try and get down as much damage as possible, but he's got some friends with him in the side of mousesports, and they're able to get that charge off. But quick run down the items. You can see 2 items coming in for the main carries on the side of Agoro. You've got a Wit's End along that Black Cleaver, so full kind of split push here for Szygenda. As Obsess is here as well. Szygenda needs to be very, very careful. I think he's been pinged by his teammates. Flash is burned, so is the ultimate from the side of Obsess. They're going to use Dawning Shadow as well. There's everything being used on this poor little Gnar. He does not have his Mega Gnar form, but they're turning this one straight around. Leader trying to jump in. They're going to force the flash from Woolite. Woolite's been taunted. Woolite is dead. promisq just goes golden with just enough HP. Can he survive? Yes, he can, but it is Czekolad who picks up 2. Ends up being a 3-for-2 setup. promisq feeling risky. Jumps in, jumps back out. That was so damn close from both sides.
So many low health bars there. It was on a knife's edge, but ultimately MOUZ come out slightly ahead. They are the aggressors in the plays, and unfortunately Rogue aren't in a similar position. They don't have as many globals to answer. Szygenda losing his Mega Gnar, not having as much impact, and Woolite again targeted specifically by MOUZ, and they need to be doing this. They need to be targeting Woolite in this situation. Now, Szygenda, he knows he's caught out. He sees he's Tolkin, but he understands he has to get away. And it's very difficult at this point. You can follow him easily with a Hecarim. He loses his Mega Gnar. And it's only now really the rest of Rogue is arriving. But you can see Leader instantly targeting Woolite. Gets CC'd, but as soon as that ends, just shreds it. And then promisq is the follow-up, and as soon as Woolite is dead, there's a lot of momentum lost from the side of Rogue. He is such a massive part of their team fighting, such a massive amount of damage for them. Just really well executed to pick the right target for MOUZ.
Czekolad saved that fight right there. He literally took 2 people out with his dying auto attack just to make sure that they didn't come out of this. And we're looking at an incredibly close game in this first one. 10 kills apiece. You got 2 dragons on the side of Agoro with 1 for MOUZ. It's only about a 1,500 gold lead. Like, this is starting to get to the point of, what is actually separating isn't just, a massive goalie. It's inches. It's tiny little mistakes. It's massively, intricate outplays that will be the difference between who takes this game 1 and who has to go into game 2 thinking it might be their last.
Yeah, and that's where it gets scary, is the fact that MOUZ have that scaling edge. And when it's this close now, you are concerned about going to the later stages. Now, Zanzarah's looking.
Yeah, jumps onto leader who does not have a QSS. They use the quickness as well, but he is so damn tanky. They can't get him out. They can't get the health down on him. He's only just down to below half now. TP coming in off the backside of this. This is Tolkin, the sole TP member. Czekolad is here, going to try and jump onto Trymbi. They're going to try and trade back this one there. There is the Death Realm used. They're going to be a swing and a miss there on the Dawning Shadow. Tolkin jumping down on the Zanzarah, but he is just nowhere near his team. He can't get the kill. They're going to try and turn back on top of him, and that is the first kill of the fight. A little bit of a reset as Woolite is coming in. I don't think the side of MOUZ really want to go for this anymore, as promisq might be caught out. Yes, he is. Mystic shot to finish it off, and Woolite finds himself a third kill of the game.
Exactly what Rogue need there. They can actually go towards his Baron and look to threaten it. Zanzarah's already reset. And remember, the only TP on MOUZ was Tolkin. He has used it, he is dead. Anyone else who's respawned has to run all the way here.
Very, very important to notice, though. promisq has got the hero's entrance, and they have the onslaught of shadows, so they have a delivery system to try and start this fight. Baron down below half HP. They're going to jump straight on top. Oh, the Hecarim, the pony is dead. Jeskla just hasn't got anywhere else to go. Double kill going into Czekolad, and the Baron to boot. Leader picks up mid lane tower, but overall a Go Rogue feeling good.
They punish MOUZ massively in that fight top lane, and as soon as they get the advantage, they look to capitalize on that Baron. And I love this setup there from Czekolad and Trymbi. As soon as they see an opportunity to jump on Obsess, they do so, and they ensure there is no chance of a steal. And with that, they're going to be able to pick up third dragon of the game as well, and an Ocean Soul will make things very difficult for MOUZ.
This is where you're starting to feel confident of the Ultra League. You're starting to feel like this is exactly what you wanted to see. And for MOUZ, it just feels like they're not really able to kind of, do anything with these fights.
But my question mark is, why are you opting into that fight? We said they have the scaling advantage. You have a Kassadin who's level 14. It's 2 more levels till it's go time. Why do you feel the need to take that fight? Because the game wasn't going out of control, and Rogue wouldn't have been able to do that Baron if you hadn't lost members and opted into a bad fight. So I think MOUZ made the mistake there, and yes, Rogue did a great job to punish, but I think MOUZ should have played that more safe.
I just want to highlight as well, we obviously mentioned the mid lane matchup, but Trymbi on this Rakan, 13 out of 14 kill participation has just been fantastic to be able to enable his team to go for these, extended fights and really kind of go back on top of it. And you can see right now they have to back away. They can see Trymbi has got the quickness. They can't risk him getting on the back line.
Yeah, the engage is huge, and I think Trymbi's done a great job this tournament. His pairing up with Zanzarah has been huge, and on top of that, his individual play has been stellar as well. So big one to watch out for. And Rogue also on a push on the second tower. They have to be cautious about potential engage from MOUZ, but realistically at this point, with this gold lead, they probably still win the fight.
6,000 gold lead, got themselves the Baron buff. They're going to be able to take out the final outer turret on the side of MOUZ, and that means it's only inhibitor turrets left. Now, do you go for the fight? Do you look to try and turn this one around? promisq does land the Shield of Duran. Zanzarah has the flash away. Obsess pop the Ghost. And it looks like the call is just to try and disengage, push in the waves, try and get more pressure that way, and just slowly chip down this base.
MOUZ are still fishing though. If you give them an inch, they will take it and pull you over to their side of the map and beat you with it. They are looking for a window to capitalize on Rogue.
See away it goes. Obsess's ultimate has been stolen, so it's an onslaught of shadows onto Czekolad. Now, Szygenda pushing in this mid lane, jumps in, does not land the stun, unfortunately, with the Mega Gnar. But they are able to push this turret in a little bit more. Do they crack the base? I think it is pretty much set up that they do. There it is, Czekolad just feeling it, goes straight in. Trymbi with the quickness. promisq the defensive hero's entrance, but Obsess is dead. True Shot Barrage is pushed over, double kill for Woolite. They get the inhibitor, they get the team fight, and they break open the base.
Then they look at the end here. Czekolad's going to TP in, and it was just a huge engage there. 3 to defend for MOUZ here. They could be looking at a loss for this game 1.
Rogue want this done here and now with 27 minutes on the clock. Shield Duran does land on the 3 people as Leader jumps straight on top of everybody. They're trying to jump in. There's the ultimate coming back on top of it. Leader trying to back himself away. Just about able to keep himself alive. promisq as well will eventually go down. No, he won't. He will actually stay alive since Zanzarah is the one who falls. And the rest of Rogue cannot continue to fight. They get 1 Nexus turret and they have to back away. It was just too much to do and MOUZ survive.
They survive, but they are bleeding. Their base is a shambles, and Rogue now looking at a 7,000, nearly 8,000 gold lead. They are firmly in control, and I want to bring your attention to that top left corner. A minute 45 until Ocean Soul. MOUZ cannot let Rogue get this, but I don't feel like they win a fight at this point. They need a perfect engage, and they need to kill Woolite if they want any hope.
Very, very important to note as well. Look at the summoners that are missing. Jeskla only just getting his flash, but no flash for leader, no barrier for leader, no heal, no flash for promisq. So we're not going to be able to see the flash taunts coming in for promisq into this fight. They are solely reliant on Obsess starting these off with the onslaught of shadows.
Yeah, absolutely. And you want time for MOUZ. You want time to hit those points. You want leader to be level 16, few more items in his pocket, but you're not going to be given that. And I just feel like the story of this game has been MOUZ opting into fights that they didn't need to. Yes, some were successful, but overall, it sped up the pace of this game, and now Rogue are looking at that Ocean Dragon. And if they get that, I feel like there's very few windows for MOUZ to get back into this game.
Item roll call just before this Dragon fight. We'll have a quick one look at the Go Rogue. You've got 3 items on top of Gnar with that. Excuse me, with the armor item, I've completely forgotten the name. Randuin's Omen. Yes, I saw the old Randuin's Omen and completely forgot what it looked like. But you got the Lock of the Iron Solari. You now have a Zhonya's onto Czekolad with the Morello Nomicom and the Protobell. 4 items onto Woolite. He's got armor shred, he's got survivability, and he's got a crap ton of mana to keep him relevant in these fights. Well, on the other hand, you have got the Triforce and the QSS, and you're almost there for leader. You can see he's got a couple of half items. He's almost at that point of unkillable and just doing crazy amounts of damage.
Not quite level 16 though, that's the big thing. It's such a power spike for the champion, and if you hit that point, it can make a difference, but for now, they're gonna have to go without it. Dragon spawning in 3 seconds. Rogue in position, they have vision control, it's on MOUZ to approach. They might be a little bit slow for this.
Might be a little bit slow, but they have got a ball delivery system as such. As we can see, the Dragon's down, so that is the Ocean Soul away. They jump straight in, Dawning Shadow across 2, but you can see Trymbi with the quickness just keeping everybody away. They steal the onslaught of shadows and they jumps in, promisq, but Woolite is down. It's a trade of ADC for ADC. The shields around is there, promisq just keeping everybody busy. Tolkin is there, Obsess is down. Double kill for Czekolad. They're trying to just see if they can catch out leader. He catches him with the Kingslayer. Triple kill for Czekolad. Quadra kill for Czekolad, and he's gonna mark off this game with a pentakill!
We see him take the pick of leader, and he destroys him with it. A rough start, but Czekolad comes up huge in that fight. Pentakill for him, game 1 for him. Rogue slap down MOUZ.
What a way to do it as well. A Go Rogue will take the advantage in this best of 3, and MOUZ are back to the drawing board with their backs against the wall. Game 1 to the Ultraliga, and they're 1 game away from setting themselves up in the final against Gamer Legion.
And what a call out to take the Sylas. I'm thinking second rotation, you're probably banning it. No, Czekolad wants to go head to head with leader, and even with the rough start, finds the window back in the game. And what a way to top off the game 1 with a pentakill.
I feel like that's a call-out. As you said, it's a 100% call-out. Not only do you take away the Sylas, you get a pentakill on the Sylas, and that fight was messy right at the end. And
we said it though.
Yeah.
Mid lane's the lane.
Mid lane is the lane. We're gonna have to see now what our analysts make of that. We're gonna go see a Go Rogue take game 1 in our second best of 3 series tonight. We'll talk more about that game right after the break.
Welcome back to European Masters. We just saw ADC Rogue open up the score with a 1-0 lead versus MOUZ Esports after a very, very, very kill-heavy game.
That was a bloody one, wasn't it? There was so many kills, and even though like Rogue had gold leads, it felt like the fights were either going even, sometimes in favor of MOUZ, sometimes in favor of Rogue, and it was just crazy.
Yeah, we said there was the bloodiest team in the league, and what do we get? We got the bloodiest game of semis.
I'm a bit surprised though, because Rogue reacted actually with, okay, this is how you play. Let me play like this as well, because Rogue was just starting from minute 1 fighting as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the draft behind us. I think they early blind picked the Sylas into leader, which I think is to deny it from him, while also showing some assertiveness. Like, look at me, I can play Sylas too, so they're kind of calling his bluff in that way. And then the Rakan was a big pick for me as well. Like, Trymbi on Rakan, he's been popping off in fights throughout the EU Masters in general, and this game as well. He was almost like 100% kill participation for the first like 20-25 minutes, and he was always getting really good engages with Zanzarah on the Skarner.
Yeah, I'm curious to see going into game 2, like the Rakan, does he get that again? Or does he not?
It's questionable. Could be banned out.
He was really good on it.
I want to focus a bit though on the mid matchup, because we've spoken a lot about leader, we spoke a lot about Czekolad. Looking at the highlights we have, leader starting off the game really well on the Kassadin, getting 2 kills pre-6.
Yeah, Kassadin early game is one of the weakest champs in the game, and the fact that leader managed to get 2 solo kills, level 2 and level 5, in a matchup where Sylas is not favored. He's kind of favored early game, but later on he's going to fall off.
Basically, it shouldn't happen is what you're trying to say.
Basically, this is completely
really
illegal. This should
happen.
never happen. But the fact that they get leader to 2-0, it's almost like this is a point in the game where you say to yourself, it's just over, isn't it? Like, my Kassadin is 2-0 with minute 5.
He has barrier, by the way. Like, 2 kills, pre-level 6 on Kassadin. You think, oh, he's gone for the ignite. He's taking some kind of cheesy thing. No, he had flash barrier and he still made it to happen. That's insane.
Something that caught my eye was the Kassadin building the Frozen Heart.
Yeah, we've seen in lots of Chinese solo queue, Kassadin, Ultimate Hunter, Frozen Heart, full tank Kassadin with 40% CDR with the Ultimate Hunter, just really low cooldown on your ult. Basically means level 11, you're almost like a level 16 because your ult is such low.
Plus you get loads of mana as well, right? Which is also very good for Kassadin.
Yeah. So that game starts off with leader. Like, he gets 2 kills. Would you say, like, this game is over? But Czekolad, he doesn't give up.
Yeah, this was, I think Czekolad started the game by running it down mid, and then he ran it up to top lane right here, and actually had a pretty good play. This is where he picks up 2 kills, and this really ties into the whole kind of explosiveness and like back and forthness of this game, where it really did feel like, okay, you're completely out of this game now, mate. You've died twice solo to Kassadin pre-6, but here you are, you're still making that play, and Rogue really was just able to pick up these scrappy fights and come out on top.
Yeah, and from this play, they got the Herald, Rogue got the Herald, but Obsess kind of was like, well, the Herald's dead. I'm going to go bot side. I'm going to leave you to top. Good luck, have fun. And then all of a sudden, they get 1 wave prio mid. They 4-man dive top. Leader tries to come in to help, but they lose 3 kills for nothing when Obsess kind of went to bot side to give blue buff, which was kind of questionable in a way. When the enemy team has Herald, you really want to cover it.
I love that phrasing. Kind of questionable in a way. That's him saying it was crap. Really bad.
Also, you have to do a huge shout out to Trymbi, because Trymbi has been showing up. Like, he had an insane kill participation. Like, when they were in 14 kills, I think he was part of 12 of them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the thing is, to highlight how back and forth this was, they go for a top dive early on, it works. Then they go for another top redive on Tolkin. Leader just about survives this fight long enough to do most damage, and MOUZ collapsed. So then you think, well, Rogue was in the driving seat. Well, now MOUZ is in the driving seat. Leader does pick up a couple of kills there. He does eventually go down, but MOUZ is kind of back in it now. You think, well, they get the Herald, they're kind of back in it, but the game was just so back and forth, despite each team getting such big advantages on either side of the map.
Yeah, and then something...
special happened.
Yeah, if you missed that or went to the bathroom, you're going to be very sad, because Czekolad picking up that pentakill, that was beautiful.
Yeah, it's such a contrast to how we started the game, you know, genuinely starting 0 and 2, and then if this isn't the cherry on top of the redemption.
But look at the
right
Rakan as well.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime you get a pentakill, it's always a team thing, right? I mean, we're obviously going to put a focus on Czekolad and be like, yeah, what a hero, he got 5 kills, but his team really set this one up perfectly, and the fact that he was able to do this is a huge statement when you're going up against someone like Leader, who has openly said he doesn't really have a lot of respect for many other mid laners in this tournament. So how's about that for your first game?
Leader has made that public. I don't think he cares who the enemy mid is. I think he thinks they're all bad probably. I mean, picking up a pentakill on the Sylas when Czekolad is not really considered a Sylas player, that was super impressive. And the fact that it was a pentakill in a game where you're getting solo kill twice in the lane in a good matchup, I mean, props to him for staying in it and just popping off in fights.
Looking into game 2, Fox Drop, what do you think is going to happen into the draft? Because I reckon that mousesports is going to be on the blue side? Because blue side, once again, is a very strong side at this moment.
Yeah, I wonder whether they might even... I don't know whether they've got the egos to stay red side so they can last pick leader or something like that. Maybe get him the counter pick. But either way, I just think you've got to limit the playmaking from Rogue. They were really good at that. Maybe pick some things that are better scrappy early on. But either way, like obviously this second game, you've got to win it or you're all donezo in this semi. And MOUZ Esports, they've been to the quarterfinals, they've got out once, and they got 3-0'd in the semis. So they've yet to win a single game in the semifinals as this organization. And if they want to pick it up, then they definitely need to change something up going into next game.
Kindrel, you think Rakan's going to make it through pick and ban?
Well, Rakan has loads of lane counters, and I think that MOUZ bot lane was doing their job. They were winning lane early. It just came when the swap came, Obsess kind of went to the wrong side of the map. I think the drafts from both sides were fine. I think the mid picks could be changed a little bit. You could have leader on something more aggressive, like a Sylas, where he's the one roaming to sides rather than just going for these, well, he shouldn't have got those solo kills, but going for these lane winning matchups which do scale. I think Hecarim might be a contested pick. I don't think Zanzarah is going to pick it, but Obsess having it, I think the champ itself is strong, but the Skarner's going through. Maybe the set might go through again. It all depends what they want to do, but they should definitely choose blue side and go for target bans.
Yeah, a lot of questions, and hopefully we're going to get a lot of answers. AGO Rogue are currently leading this Series 1-0. This could be the last we see of MOUZ Esports and EU Masters. Stay tuned, and we'll see you after the break.
This is the golden age of the Prime League. It's the only European regional league with multiple title contenders each split. This doesn't just sound good on paper, it makes the Prime League the most competitive national league out there. Even though the Prime League allows its players to live the life of a professional League of Legends player, they all still share the same goal: to make it to the LEC. That goal is completely within reach. Over the past year, more than 10 players managed to make the leap to Europe's highest league. The Fires of Prime League didn't just forge the likes of LEC Rookie of the Split Labrov. Even All-Pro team members Kaiser and Shadow started their careers in the DACH region and have now made it to Worlds. With names like these coming up, you can rightfully call it the breeding ground for the rising European stars of tomorrow. Yet it still has its own established stars. Tolkin has been playing professionally for a few years, but only unlocked his full potential this very season. Known for his good laning, constant solo kills, as well as a positive attitude towards any given situation, he is the shining light of mousesports top lane. During the Prime League playoffs, he earned the unofficial title of the CEO of playoffs, and in the ongoing EU Masters tournament, keeps on proving why. It's players like him that ensure the Prime League is truly deserving of its name.